Making a purple hot sauce is something I've always wanted to do, and today I'm gonna do some experimenting in the kitchen to see if I can make it happen. It's not often that you get to see us truly experimenting with our recipes. Typically, we test and trial our recipes a few times before sharing the final result. But I'm excited to take you behind the scenes a little bit, and of course, at the end of the video, join Calvin and I for a little taste test of the final product. Now, to start the recipe off, it is a hot sauce after all, so of course we need hot peppers. And we happen to have a lot of beautiful purple hot peppers growing out in the garden right now. These here are purple gator jigsaw peppers, which are absolutely beautiful and purple, and they ripen to this gorgeous purpley red color, but they're also extremely spicy. And there are lots of other purple varieties of peppers available, from the Buena Mulata, which we love, and the Islander bell pepper, which we grew for the first time this year. But I'm not actually going to be using purple peppers for my hot sauce today. With purple peppers, it's almost always the case that the skin is purple, but when you cut into that pepper, the flesh is often green or a different color, so purple peppers wouldn't contribute much to the color of a hot sauce. In our experience, cooking purple peppers also causes them to turn more brownish. So instead, I'm gonna use these coyote teeth peppers, which are a bright, beautiful ivory color. These are a pretty hot pepper. They land about 75,000 on the Scoville scale, which makes them similar to a mild habanero in heat level. And if you don't have any white peppers on hand, because of course they don't sell these at the grocery store, and if you didn't grow any yourself, you certainly could try a nice pale yellow pepper or a nice light orange pepper in this recipe. To achieve a bright purple color, I'm gonna use a tried and true fruit that, without fail, always makes my smoothies purple in the morning: wild blueberries. I'm also using wild blueberries because they're more pigmented and I really like the flavor as well. I'm gonna use a 5-to-1 ratio of fruit to hot peppers. We've made a lot of hot sauces with both hot peppers and fruit together, and this ratio is always a pretty good starting point. And of course, the color isn't everything. I really want this to be a purple hot sauce that actually tastes good, so that's the challenge here. So I'm gonna start by chopping up the 2 ounces of coyote teeth peppers. Next, I'll be adding 10 ounces of wild blueberries to my saucepan where I'll be cooking everything up. And these are frozen wild blueberries, which I do love using for cooking and baking. Next up is the vinegar, which we always use in our hot sauce recipes, but it can definitely make or break the sauce, and it will completely change the flavor of the sauce depending on which type of vinegar you use. I was thinking that white wine vinegar would be great, but I'm a little worried that it might be too sweet with the addition of the blueberries, so I'm gonna use rice vinegar instead. It's more mild than white vinegar or apple cider vinegar, but it still has a subtle sweetness to it that I'm hoping will come through to the final flavor of the sauce. I'm gonna add half a cup of rice vinegar to this, and I can always add more to the end if needed. And to sweeten it up a little bit, I'm gonna use maple syrup instead of sugar, which I think will go really well with the blueberries. And I'm gonna start with a tablespoon because I don't want it to be too sweet, and again, I can always add more to sweeten it if needed at the end. And then salt, of course, I'm gonna start with half a teaspoon. Now finally, I'm gonna add the hot peppers and let it cook for about 10 minutes or so before blending it up. And whenever you're working with hot peppers, it's always best to use gloves. And even with working with these wild blueberries, because they're super pigmented and they will stain anything purple. I'm gonna add them to the pot where I'm gonna let them simmer for about 10 minutes before blending. Now everything is cooked up, the peppers and the berries have softened, and I did let it cool for a few minutes. I'm gonna pour it into the blender before adding one more ingredient. This part always makes me really nervous. I'm panicking. A lot of times with fruity hot sauces, we use a little bit of lime juice after cooking and before blending, but I decided to use lemon juice for this recipe because of how well lemon juice works with blueberries. That's lime juice. Whoop, I gotta get the lemon juice. They look the same. So I'm gonna start with a tablespoon of lemon juice for some citrus notes before blending it up. So I know that the sauce is gonna be on the thicker side because of the blueberries and the skin, and I am gonna strain it after I get the flavor just right. And very rarely do we make anything where the first time we taste it, it's just perfect. So I know I'm gonna have to do some adjustments and we'll go from there. All right. Wow. Okay. So it's very good, but it definitely needs more sweetness. So I'm gonna add a little bit more maple syrup and a tiny bit more salt. And I will leave the final recipe in the description below if you wanna make this yourself. So I'm adding another tablespoon of maple syrup and another 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Time for a reblend and another taste test. It's so much better now. Okay, that's exactly where I want it to be. I think if I were to make this again, I would do 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, so just a pinch. It might be a tiny bit too salty, but really very, very good. So I'm gonna strain this now and admire the color. It already looks really, really great. And the heat level is perfect. I can't wait to get Calvin in here to taste this and see what he thinks. I was thinking it would be so good on something like cheesecake, but a lot of you guys always recommend doing hot sauce on ice cream. And I think this is the perfect sauce to try on ice cream. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I did imagine that this sauce would be on the thick side. So I'm gonna strain it so it's a little bit more splashy and thin. And you can always strain your sauces and add a little bit of the pulp back into them to reach the consistency that you'd like. So this is the final sauce and the color is absolutely amazing. I am going to pour it into a woozy bottle so we can really admire the purple color, and I can't wait to try it on some ice cream. Woo! All right. And I do have enough for another 5-ounce woozy bottle, but I'm gonna put this aside for now and just take a look at this beautiful sauce. I love the consistency. So now, moment of truth. I'm gonna call Calvin in here to try this hot sauce. You ready to try this?
Of course.
All right. Some scoops. How many scoops of ice cream would you like to try this with?
2.
2 miniature scoops.
All right.
Coming right up.
Nice.
Let's try it first without the ice cream because, you know, it's ice cream.
Not too much on the aroma. Nice consistency.
Yeah.
Nice and thin, but like it holds its shape.
Yeah, it
Deep
is.
dark purple.
I think the blueberries really contribute to the consistency as well.
Nice and sweet. I like a sweeter sauce. I think, yeah, with blueberries, it needs to be a little sweet. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really good on ice cream. I've never actually tried, I don't know, maybe once a long time ago, but I haven't really tried hot sauce on ice cream. So.
This is gonna be so satisfying to pour this really purple hot sauce. Whoa.
Oh, that looks so good.
It really does. Yeah, it looks like
it's almost
jam.
like a maroon, or I don't know, like
Syrup?
a deep red syrupy. Yeah, let's get a good bite. This is gonna be such an interesting dichotomy.
Wow. That's really good.
Well, how interesting. It's like cold, but then spicy in the back of the throat.
Yep.
It's hard to go wrong with delicious vanilla ice cream, right? But
yeah. I still think it would be really good on cheesecake, you know, or something along that line. But
it's definitely complimentary. I'm gonna try to mix it up a little bit and see if we can get a nice pretty color. Oh yeah, look at that. Almost like purple food coloring. Beautiful color.
Yeah, this will dye anything it touches.
Hot though. I'm actually burning. It's interesting. You're eating ice cream, but
burning. Yeah.
But I'm burning.
It's like you're having an allergic reaction to it. It is worth noting that, you know, I didn't test the pH of this hot sauce. It's not shelf stable. It needs to be put in the refrigerator because of the blueberries and the water content. So if you make this, I would consume it within 2 weeks to be safe. And of course, if you ever notice a funky smell or mold, always discard it. Thanks so much for watching and experimenting with me in the kitchen. I'll see you next time. The heat level's great, but it's hard to talk, you know, after taking a spoonful.